The next step in mastering the expired canceled lead source is the skills. Now, let's just take a step back. Step number one, of course, is mastering your mindset, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs about expired cancels, going from negative into empowered. Step number two is understanding the customer's experience and their journey, walking in their shoes, seeing what they see, experiencing what they see. And with expired and cancels, it's really important to go back to the very first moment that a seller meets with that listing agent and to kind of think through, what did that agent promise? What did they not deliver on? What did the seller do? And how did that experience go all the way through the listing process? And when you do that, now when we come to here, step number three of mastery, the skills, you're much more empowered to understand what questions would unlock this conversation. You would understand, how to get people engaged. You would have more compassion and empathy for their frustration. So let's talk about a couple of the skills. Now, I stay away from scripting because there's 1,000 amazing scripts out there in the world, right? Between Tom Ferry and all of the other great scripting organizations and companies. So there's plenty of amazing scripts. So I want to just cover high level what I think are the best skills that make every script come alive and allow you to book more appointments more effortlessly. So skill number one is really mastering your opening line and your introduction. Here's the thing, I would be listening to calls from real estate agents, and here's what would happen. If you ever hear this from a homeowner, they say, "Who are you and what are you calling me about?" What happened is I'd listened to a lot of agents introduce themselves and they weren't clear who they were and the reason for their call, and they wouldn't get into their opening question in a powerful way. Now, if you're new to expired cancels, you're kind of nervous, you kind of talk a little fast. So I actually found that one of the skills was to slow down and be more clear and emphasize the most important moments. See, that's a presentation skill. Jay, we've been talking a lot about that, right? So I found mastering your introduction, getting to that opening question and opening up the conversation, step number one. Number two is the initial reflex response that an expired is going to give you. We already know what they're going to say. We're not selling anymore. We're going to relist with the same agent. We're taking a break. Give me a call back in 6 months. This is what's referred to as a reflexive response to your very first question. Now, if we do a great job with your opener, you reduce the resistance to the reflex, but the reflex is mostly going to be there probably every single time. So we need to be prepared to how we're going to acknowledge their reflexive response. You're not planning on selling anymore. You're taking a break. You're taking your home off the market. You're relisting with the same agent. The skill is to repeat what they said, to approve of it, and then to ask the next question and or ask a clarifying question, okay? And so that's the skill that is critical to unlock the beginning of the expired phone call, okay? Great intro, handle the reflexive response, and to get them into the conversation. The two biggest challenges with expireds is number one is getting past that opener and getting them to open up. Once you get them to open up, they're very easy to convert. The other hard part is just getting a hold of the expired. So it's so challenging because we're prospecting, not talking to the right owner, and for long windows of time, which seems like forever, then you finally get one and they give you that immediate reflexive response, and a lot of agents fail right there. And that's why they'll quit immediately, because they're like, this is too hard. I didn't like this. They're not motivated. I can't get a hold of anyone. And so it's really, if you understand that that's the natural cycle, and we master this first skill set, this game's over. In a previous video, we talked about the skills of the questions that we need to be asking. There's two main conversations that need to be had. The what happened, why do you think the home didn't sell? What did your agent say? That's number one. And then number two is their motivation, right? If you were able to sell the home, where would you go next? Where were you planning on moving? Were you planning on staying in the area, moving out, and opening that conversation up? And you can book an appointment if you go deep with any one of those questions. Both will take you there, okay? But both are really an essential part of a quality appointment, okay? And there's a million different scripts and a million different questions. And one of the skills that I used to really train my coaching clients on and work with when I was really heavy into scripting was, how do you ask 3 additional questions off the one question on the script? So if one of the questions on the script was, hey, if you sold this home, where would you go next? Most of the time, you'll get a surface answer. Well, we're not sure anymore. That's a surface answer. So we got to go 3 questions deep. Were you planning on staying in the area or moving out? Well, we're going to move out. Still surface answer. Great. Let's go one step deeper. Well, were you guys moving, like, staying in Southern California, or are you getting out of California altogether? Oh no, we're going to stay in Southern California. Still surface. Okay. Well, have you seen anything you guys liked out there? Well, yeah, we saw some properties that we liked. Well, were you guys going to downsize, or were you guys, kind of getting something same? Or are you moving a little closer to family? Why were you guys moving? Now I'm on question number 4 from the first question. Well, we're actually looking at getting closer to the grandkids, and, my family lives in da-da-da-da-da. And now all of a sudden the conversation cracks open. And now they start telling you the reason why they're moving, and they start getting into the details of what they're doing. And it took you probably 4 additional questions to actually get there off of the first question. So really, really critical when we're dealing with expires and cancels is that when you ask that one motivational question, that you go deep. You got to get 4, 5, 6 additional questions deep before you even move to the next question on the script. This is how I was able to help agents go from a conversation to appointment ratio of like 50 conversations to 1 appointment. I drove it all the way down to 10 conversations to an appointment. This was one of those skills. Okay, so we got to master the 2 skills on the 2 conversations, lots of additional deeper questions. The next major skill in dealing with expired and cancels is really understanding the difference between a reflex response objection when you get to go close for an appointment versus a big issue objection. A reflexive response question would be something like, hey, Adrian, let's get together sometime this week so I can share with you what I would do to help you sell your home. And you would say, send me some information. That's not an objection. Actually, aren't we supposed to send them a pre-listing package anyways? So the answer is yes. Great, Adrian, I do want to send you some information. And actually, I'm going to send you some information before our physical appointment. It would be easier if I could just email that to you. So could you share your email with me so I can send you some information? Give me your email. Now, Adrian, do you want to meet on Friday or do you want to meet on Saturday? Next reflexive response that we're going to hear pretty much most of the time. I need to talk to my spouse. And so that's not an objection. That's just a reflexive response. It's actually a natural process for booking an appointment. And so, hey, Adrian, of course, of course, let's just say to Jay, of course you should, talk, or Adrian, of course you should talk to your husband. And what I want to do is, why don't I send you over my information about who I am, my track record, what I've been able to accomplish, some of my marketing strategies, some of the basic information about me. Send that over. Please share that with your husband, because Adrian, you know, it'd be weird if you booked an appointment with me. I'm kind of handsome. So if I showed up and your husband didn't know about me, that'd be a little weird, wouldn't it? Make them laugh because it's funny.
Right.
So again, that's not an objection. It's just a reflexive response. Okay. Now, next one, a personality type like an analytical, an amiable, is going to have a tough time making a decision and a commitment on a physical appointment. So with an analytical, if you said to me as an analytical, Patrick, when would be a good time for us to get together? 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock? I honestly, as an analytical, would get paralyzed because I'd be like, oh man, I don't know what my schedule is. And I probably would try and deflect you from the appointment, even though I want it, but I would probably deflect from it because as an analytical, I have a tough time making the decision. So that's not an objection. It's a reflex. And so how do you handle the amiable personality who probably is really like, I don't know what to do. I need to talk to my spouse. I need to make sure my family's okay. I feel uncomfortable making this commitment because I haven't approved it with other people. So therefore, with that personality type, we have to say, why don't we do this? Let's just pencil in an open time. I'll send you the email with my information. And then what I'll do is I'll call to confirm that that time is okay with you and everybody else. It's just a reflexive response. It's not an objection, right? And so then we say, you know, and then we'll just have that as a placeholder. Let me give you my direct cell phone number. And, you know, if that time doesn't work, you can go ahead and just send me a text and we'll just reschedule for a better time for you. Right? Not a big deal. Okay. So that skill of understanding the reflexive versus a big objection. A big objection would be, listen, you know, it's a neighbor that listed my home. We have a relationship with them. You know, we're kind of interested in exploring other options, but we feel weird about it. That's a real objection. A real objection is we're considering renting our property, right, instead of selling it. That's a real objection. I'm going to relist with the same agent. It's a family member. That's a real objection. So what I learned with the skills is you got to separate out the reflexive stuff versus the big stuff. And with the big stuff, we actually have to really work on a quality objection handler. That's where we got to do the work. Make sure you have the reflexive stuff handled so that you can book the appointment easily without any of that effort. One of the easiest close that I ever built that booked thousands of expired appointments was very simple. And it was this one. It was, hey, you know what, Adrian? Oh my gosh, I'm looking at my schedule right now. And I think I'm going to be in your neighborhood at the end of this week. Today's Friday. I'm going to be showing property in your neighborhood over the weekend. And then you just say this, are you guys going to be around at all this weekend? Now, are you going to be around at all this weekend? It's such an open question, right? Most people, they can't say no. They're like, well, yeah. And then you're like, well, Saturday afternoon or like Sunday afternoon, are you guys going to be around? Well, Saturday is probably better for me. What time on Saturday? I think I can probably meet you before or after the appointment that I have. Well, I'd rather it be earlier Saturday. Okay, does 2 o'clock work? Yeah, 2 o'clock works. Perfect. Okay, notice what I did. I went general and wide, and I let them take me to the ideal time. That skill right there of I'm going to be in the neighborhood anyways. They literally, I would listen to calls and I could hear the homeowner just submitting. They're like, all right. there's just something about the psychology of that. It was just so weird, right? And so they would just book the appointment with you if you went general down to specific. So you could see when I dissected the skills that actually really made the difference, you know, outside of the script, everybody's got a script, that all the scripts work, they're all good, right? But it's these additional skill sets that I saw that took my conversation to appointment ratio from really high all the way down to really, really low. If you can master the mindset and the skills with expireds, you should be able to get your ratios down to one appointment out of 10 conversations. All right, I hope that was helpful. In the comments, in the chat, would you guys please put what skill set do you need to work on? There's one advanced skill set. Let me just give this to you guys real fast that I forgot to add into my list. One more advanced, and that is the skill of, would you guys write this down? There's 3 words that I'm going to give you because I'm analytical, so you have to deal with me. Approval, acknowledgement, and recognition. Approval, acknowledgement, and recognition. I forgot, this is an advanced skill with expireds. So I acknowledge your frustration. I acknowledge that this is a terrible experience for you. And acknowledgement is about that empathy, letting them know that you are acknowledging that they deserve to be frustrated. They should be irritated. This experience of agents contacting them and trying to solicit their listing is very frustrating and is a terrible experience. Acknowledging that is essential, okay? Then recognition. When you hear their motivation, we are moving because we're retiring. You're moving because you're retiring. Great. How soon did you want to get there? Commission breath. You're moving because you're retiring. Give them recognition. Hey, congratulations. Good for you. I'm jealous. Right? That's super exciting. I bet you, you must be super thrilled about the retirement. Recognition, so powerful. Hey, what's taking you guys to San Diego? Well, we're moving closer to the grandkids. Oh, you're moving to the grandkids. Well, how soon did you want to get down to the grandkids? That's disgusting. You're moving down to get closer to the grandkids? Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. I bet you they are thrilled, right? If I'm talking to the husband, is your wife excited about this? Oh my God, she can't wait. Yeah, you know what? It's so wonderful having the grandparents around my kids. I got to tell you, the kids are probably really thrilled to have you guys closer. Do you see what I'm doing? That is just natural from the heart recognition for what they're trying to accomplish. Now, I call that an advanced skill because it's really, really just a good communication skill. But when you do stuff like that with an expired, literally you go from, annoying real estate agent who's trying to get my listing to, I like this person and I respect this person and appreciate them, and I'm feeling way more comfortable with them, and they invite you over. That's the power of acknowledgement and recognition and approval. That's an advanced skill that if we can master that in the expireds, you literally will get invited over to people's houses to come talk to them about selling it. Okay, last close, I'll give you guys, just since we're on the skill topic, I just remembered it too, is one of my closes, which is, hey, here's what I would be willing to do based upon everything we talked about. It's called a summary close. Based upon everything we've talked about. You told me, 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 you told me. Based upon that, what I would like to do is I'd like to spend a couple hours doing some in-depth research as to why your home didn't sell and what it's going to take for your property to sell within 30 days or less for the highest possible price. I would be willing to do all of that research and show that to you if you would be willing to spend 15 minutes with me to just review it. Okay, that line right there of the I would be willing to if you has booked more expired and canceled appointments than any other close that exists in the industry, because it's real, it's what they want, and it's relevant, and it's a value exchange. Very powerful. Okay, good. Hope that was helpful. I gave you 2 bonus ones at the end. On our next session, we're going to talk about understanding the numbers of expireds. So let me know which skill is important to you, and thanks. Give me a little thumbs up on this video, and I appreciate you guys. Thanks.